James Henderson, CEO of exclusiveresorts.com. I love the main slogan, if you will, on your the homepage of your website. Life's too short for should-haves. Work less and play more. Very well said. How are you doing today, James?
That's right. I'm great. Thank you. It's great to meet you.
Great to meet you as well. We're thrilled to be working with you. It's a pleasure to work with Sam and Blake. They're fantastic individuals. So thank you very much for the opportunity to work with you guys. I'm a huge fan of Exclusive Resorts. I love what you do, which, in my opinion, is unparalleled. And of course, I will let you dig into that. So thank you for taking the time to discuss the background of Exclusive Resorts, the value of being an Exclusive Resorts member, and touching upon a few properties that you personally visited, and then also what the future of the brand Exclusive Resorts looks like. And so on that note, let's jump right into it, James. What is Exclusive Resorts?
Absolutely. Well, firstly, thank you so much for having us on, Joe. I really appreciate it. We are very excited to talk to you and share a little bit about who we are and what we do. So a little bit of background on Exclusive Resorts. So we've been around for 20 years. Actually, next year we're going to celebrate our 20-year anniversary. And we really refer ourselves as a private club. And, we like to say that we've been transforming how the well-traveled traveled well for 20 years. So overall, we're one of the largest owners and operators of luxury residences around the world. We have about 400 homes experienced in over 75 destinations. As a club, we have a community of about 4,500 affluent member families, and these are predominantly people that are in the US. We have a number of members in Canada and Mexico. That's kind of our base. And really, we focused on a few areas. The portfolio of our business is really centered around a couple of things. The majority of it is our homes, and we have about just under 350 homes. These are large, anything from sort of 2 to 5 bedroom homes. Typically, they're either standalone homes or they're in private resorts or residential communities. These homes are not open to the public. They're specifically for Exclusive Resorts members. We either own or we have long-term leases on them, and we operate them. And the way the homes are structured are, typically they are large standalone homes with sort of a shared living dining area. They have large master suites with 2, 3, 4 additional bedrooms where you can really bring your families together. And I think that's an important element because a lot of the reasons why our members travel with us. Also, the reason we like to retain them specifically for members and part of that private community are that it really preserves the integrity of our homes and the service. And
Right.
The only people using the homes are other Exclusive Resorts members. So you, when you're traveling destinations, and typically our homes are in footprint. So a lot of the homes we have anything from 3 to 4 homes in a destination up to, in some cases, we have over 20 homes in one destination. So the community around you, your neighbor. So that's really the core of what we're known for in terms of the homes and the villas. The other things that we do, which I think are super exciting, are members-only experiences. We call them once-in-a-lifetime journeys. And these are trips where we do group trips, and they are a range of different things. So this year we're doing safaris in Botswana, we're in Kenya, we're doing an India-Nepal trip this year. We did Argentina and Uruguay earlier this year. We are doing a seaborne cruise actually up to Alaska with about 250 members, which is departing, I think, the week after next. And then we do around the world by private jet, which is
fantastic.
7 countries, 21 days, which is a pretty cool thing. And then in addition to all of that, we do private travel where we do individual curated itineraries that members can go on. And then we have a range of what we like to call sort of these marquee events. And these are things like Kentucky Derby, Formula One, US Tennis Open, wine tours. We're doing 4 golf events, I think, this year. Pebble Beach, Whistling Straits, and St. Andrews as well we're doing. And so there's sort of these very immersive, members-only itineraries that really are pretty difficult to replicate on your own. And we get get special access and things like that.
And that's amazing. And the timing on that is so, not that you need me to tell you this, but to voice it during this great conversation, is now more than ever, people aren't simply looking to travel more. They're looking at travel as an experience. They want to experience travel more. They want to experience life more through travel. And so to have the opportunity to, whether it's via a marquee event with exclusive resorts at the Kentucky Derby, the golfing that you mentioned, the wine tours, but then also those the experiences into Botswana and whatnot. I mean, are you finding that with your members that now more than ever they're yearning for that, right? The experience of the
100%.
travel.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's interesting. I was just traveling actually I've been traveling a lot the last few weeks, but I went out to San Francisco on Monday, and I've never seen, I've lived in San Francisco for 5 years or something, 6 years, and I've never seen the airport as busy as it was on Monday. I mean, the lines were insane. And I think a lot of things have happened. I think people are feeling more comfortable traveling now. I think they want to get out more. There's a bit of this revenge travel sort of going on. People have been cooped up for years. So I think that's driving a lot of stuff. But I also think that people are traveling differently now.
Right.
I think the way that people think of travel is different. And I think consumers are different. I think certainly I think that the pandemic has changed priorities for people. I think it's changed. I think what is important for people is really changed. I think this desire for personal connection has really increased. I think people want to get together with their families again. I think they're looking for quality time. And then for someone like us, it's kind of interesting because we haven't really changed our product in quite a long time, but our product is very timely, I think, right now.
Right.
A lot of people are traveling. They want private spaces, so they're looking for connections. They want to spend time with their families and their friends, but they want to do it in a safe environment. So, they're looking for these, we like to call them safe sanctuaries, and people still will stay in hotels and things, but when you can have all of your family together in one large villa and you're in a shared space. And you're not sort of in 4 or 5 different rooms in a hotel and going up and down elevators, and you only get to meet in sort of the restaurants and things. So I think that's different. People want to spend time with their family and friends, but they want to do it within their circle of trust in the environment they can control. I think the other thing that's changed a lot for people has been, one of the fun things about if you can call it a fun thing, I suppose some sort of a silver lining of the pandemic is that there's been this ability to work remotely, and there's a bit of a blurring of work and leisure now. People tend to they can work remotely. We've had a lot of members that have traveled and worked, and have taken their kids who've been exposed to these amazing travel experiences, and they've been able to sort of do all their education remotely. So I think for sure there's been a big change, and I think people look beyond the traditional hotels. They want to feel a sense of community, which is one of the things we offer. They also want to travel with experts. They want to be with people that they know they can trust and have deep experience. And
right.
When you're traveling, I just did a trip actually a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to see some of our locations. So I was out I went out to Anguilla for a week, and I was in St. Bart's for a few days, and I was in Nevis, and honestly, the level of organization to travel, to prepare for these trips, like, I don't even have kids, and imagine preparing all the organization for kids and all your travel, and then you've got to do all the COVID tests, and then you've got to get there, and then you've got to realize if something goes wrong, how you're going to get back, and the rules change every 5 minutes, particularly in places like the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So I think it's been pretty daunting for people. And for us, what's been I think a thing that members have really appreciated is we take all of the sort of the stress out of that, because we do all the planning for you. We have all the latest information in terms of what's happening and the latest rules and what you need. Do you need a COVID test? Do you not? Do you need a vaccination form? Do you not? Do you need a booster? Do you not? Do you need a test on arrival? So many different things. And so when you're traveling with us, you're always traveling with our teams. You're either with one of our ambassadors is managing your trip, and you're with our on-site team. So you're never really alone. You're always with someone that's part of our network. But I think that gives a lot of peace of mind for people when they're traveling. So, long answer to your question, but yeah, I think certainly things have changed a lot. People want to travel more, but I think they want to travel differently.
Absolutely. No, and thank you. Very well said. You're incredibly well spoken, and I love that you use the term silver lining in correlation with respect to people, working remotely and whatnot. And I think, and this really is at the core of the right now. For exclusive resorts, in my opinion, one of the greatest silver linings of the pandemic is it gave everyone, from the affluent to all across the board, but especially with respect to for the sake of obviously our conversation and the luxury market, it gave everyone the forced opportunity to take a step back and realize this is my one life and this is my now. And so how exactly do I want to be enjoying it with my, either myself, with my family, with my friends? And that's where you see this change in the way people are approaching travel. And thus, it couldn't be a more apt time for exclusive resorts throughout your 20-year history. And that's why you see luxury real estate, yachts, purchases, yacht charters, etc., just moving at this accelerated pace. And it's a beautiful thing because, again, it reflects the fact that people realized I have the means through which to do all of these things, but pre-pandemic, we're living in this, in my opinion, this state of, well, it's on the list. I'll get to it at some point. Well, the pandemic changed the quote-unquote list and made the list now. And so then also, I love how you used the Caribbean as an example. I think often people, think of, say, traveling to, and what fantastic places you went to. And Gila is just absolutely spectacular. All of those you named are spectacular. People often think of the Caribbean as a simple place to travel to, and it's really not. It's actually, it can be a very daunting place to travel to. You don't just book a room at XYZ luxury hotel and go down. I mean, you can, but it can be somewhat unnerving if you're not working with an incredibly talented and experienced groups, such as company and groups such as Exclusive Resorts, who does everything that you just discussed. So no, thank you very much for that excellent answer.
I think I love what you say. I think that's absolutely right. I think as you pointed out at the beginning, one of the mantras that we have in sort of our mission statement of the company is we talk a lot about life is too short for should-haves, and it's just so easy for things to pass you by. It's kind of a funny personal anecdote. I made contact with a couple of friends of mine just in the last few weeks, actually, that one of whom I've not seen for probably 20 years, I think, and they've moved on and they have their families and kids and things, and I've missed this whole sort of period because we haven't been in touch for so long. But it seems like yesterday, because we were talking, I used to live in Hong Kong, and we were just saying that yesterday was the anniversary of the handover in Hong Kong in 25 years, and this friend of mine reached out to me, and we'd been out together as a group of friends, sort of on the sort of the 30th of June in 96, 1st of July 97 during the handover. And to me, that feels like yesterday. Mm-hmm. And they were telling me about all these friends, and they were talking about their family, and they've got sort of 4 or 5 kids, and the kids are in college now. And I'm like, my goodness, where did that time go? And I think that's such a sort of a part of what we try to do. And one of the things that I love about my job is I get to meet some of the coolest people. Our members are just extraordinary.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, it's just, you would not believe that the mix of different types of people and the interesting journeys that have been on their lives are incredible. But what I hear from them all the time is some of them have been traveling with us for 10 or 15 years, and they've had all these incredible life experiences that they would never have had, and we've taken care of all of that for them. And I think, this, going back to sort of what we've been through the last couple of years, I think it kind of brings it home to you that sometimes you sort of need to take a bit of time to sort of slow down and just think really what matters the most to you. And
absolutely.
I was out in Miraval, one of our locations. We have like 6 homes or 7 homes in Miraval. And I went out there last year, and I've been just super busy at the end of the year, and we have vacation ambassadors, and that are each, I'll jump back. So we have an ambassador, and our ambassadors, they organize all your trips and your planning for you. And my ambassador, Erin, she calls me up and said, look, you haven't got any vacations on the books, you should take a trip. And one of the ironies for me in running a vacation company is I'm not a very good vacationer.
Right.
And I don't really sort of plan very well. And she's like, look, you got to get away. And so she said, I said, well, what have you got? She said, well, we've got, you've got Kauai, and we've got Cabo, and we've got a couple of other places. And she said, we've got Miraval. And I thought, well, if I go to Miraval, I'm going to do all of these activities, and I'm going to climb a hill in a desert and do meditations and things, and it will be a cool thing for me to sort of reflect. And so when I did that end of last year, and I thought, it just made me think. I mean, I've been with Exclusive Resorts now for 2 years, and it's gone by in a flash. And I'm thinking, I've got to make more time, right? I've got to think, I should slow down. I need to sort of authentically connect with family and friends and colleagues a bit more. And I had this amazing opportunity to take some of these trips. And so I've been sort of putting my bucket list trips together. But I think that's what COVID has done for us. I think it has given us that sort of a little bit of a sort of a way to connect. And I think the other thing that it's done is, I mean, let's face it, we live in a pretty materialistic society, right? I think,
yes.
And I worked in a lot of the businesses so I worked in the yachting industry for a long time. I worked in private aviation for quite a while.
I saw that, yeah.
And I think I just feel that we've sort of, which is a good thing in my view. I think society is kind of moving away from this acquisitive, sort of materialistic, what can I acquire and own, to a point where people are looking for uniqueness. They're looking for individuality. They want transformative experiences.
Exactly.
They want to be with brands that resonate with them and resonate with their identity and connect with their values. And I think that for travel, it's a great time in the travel space, because I think what I like about travel is I think it opens your mind. It gives you exposure to new cultures and new people, and I think it makes you more tolerant, and I think it just positions you to sort of better engage with the world. And
beautifully said.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said beautifully said. You're absolutely correct. That very well said. And it opens your mind, but it also, in my opinion, it opens your heart and your soul as well.
100%.
Yeah, and it changed. I mean, whether it's circling back to the Caribbean, since you mentioned it, I love the Caribbean, and whether it's swimming in all its simplicity, whether it's swimming with a sea turtle in the morning for the first time, well, I mean, that in itself can be absolutely life changing. And also, you made me think of, before I forget, and it was when you were discussing yourself personally, how you run one of the most exceptional travel companies on the planet, but you're now building a bucket list, but you find it hard to, or you haven't in the past made time for yourself to vacation and take advantage of it. I love this quote from Robert De Niro, which is, time moves on. So if you're going to do something, do it now, and don't wait. Because 100%. Again, time will move on. But and how I love how you have an ambassador that contacts you and reminds you, James, it's time to take a vacation, right? And is that what they do for every Exclusive Resorts member? Yeah.
Well, they do, and I'll tell you what I'm saying about that. But I love that quote, and the reason I love that quote is I remember many years ago, and it was a quote. I think it was a British comedian guy that you probably wouldn't have heard of over here, but I think his name was Jack D or something. I remember a quote from this guy, and he'd been like super successful in the UK. And one of the things he said is that you should do the thing that he'd been encouraged by his manager to sort of do the thing that he's not quite ready for. And what I like about the quote is I think so many of us spend so much time thinking, well, we just got to be more prepared before we make that decision, but you're just never prepared, right? So
exactly. Yes.
And I love that philosophy. But yeah. So we have service is something that is really is at the core of what we do. It's one of the things where I think we differentiate and exceptionally well. We believe in relationship-based service, and I think that is different from. I think service can sometimes be a little bit transactional. But what we try to do is we try to sort of build very deep relationships with our member base, and we're fortunate because we have 4,500 member families, and we get to know them really, really well. So we're not like, and we're booking all of the trips with them. Our members are typically traveling with us on average, 25, 30 days a year.
That's fantastic.
And many of our members have been with us for 10, some 15, some even 18 years, right? We have long-term members, and we're doing multi-generational travel now. So we're seeing their children and their grandchildren and things like that.
That's amazing.
So we have this ability to curate these incredible experiences. And so when you sign up for the club, when you join the club, we connect you with what we call a vacation ambassador, and that person is really your go-to person for your time at the club. And you call them up, and they'll say, okay, they'll get to know you, Judd, and your family, and they'll talk a little bit about we'll get to know how you like to travel. So are you a skier? Are you someone you like beaches? Are you someone that are you sort of like the person that wants to fly and flop and just relax for a week? Or are you a super active traveler where you want to you hike every day and you want to do all these sort of like active experiences? Do you like wine country? Do you like or do you like urban environments? So we'll get to know you, and what we'll do is we have so many different options of experiences, and we'll plan out your trips over 2 years within the club. And so we'll get your ski trips for you, we'll get your beach trips for you, we'll get your New York trips at Christmas or whatever you want to do. We'll get your wine trips for you and things like that up in Napa Sonoma. We'll get those things on the books, and we'll constantly sort of we'll plan those out for you. So the reason that is so good is because different people travel sort of in different ways, and to my point, I'm not a very good planner, but we have other people in the club that are very different in terms of the way they plan. And I'll give you sort of a few sort of examples of sort of groups that we like to call. I mean, we have sort of different certain people that are very good at planning or very good at doing their trips, and we have people that are where travelers, all of our members, travelers are important for them, but certain members, they know what they want, they're very well traveled, but we help them travel well, which is one of the things I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. And our belief is, these are people that they don't want to waste time going through websites and checking out photos. They just want to make sure every trip is amazing, and they want a trusted professional that's going to craft these epic trips for them, and they want to know that every trip is going to be this amazing experience. They don't have to wonder if it's going to be good or executed. So we have members like that. Then we have people who really enjoy the planning element. They enjoy going through the details and going through Instagram and planning their activities and things like that. And they're really good at preparing all of that, but the execution is just kind of a chore. So we take care of all the details for them, and they have that sort of burden removed. And then there's the people like me, and we jokingly refer to people like me as the sort of the we really should type of traveler. And I'm sort of like one of these people that I think so many of us are like this. We've got a million things going on in our lives. I can't seem to think beyond the end of next week. I mean, until I joined this company, I can't even remember the last time I took an incredible vacation. And it's not about expense. It's just about there's always something going on, and I have high standards. I know what I want, but it just I feel like I need someone to help me. And so we take that away. So this is what the ambassadors do, and so they plan out all of these incredible trips. And what that does is it takes away uncertainty, the risk, it gives you peace of mind. It makes sure you're always going to have this incredible vacation experience, and you're always traveling within our system. So that's what the ambassador does, and that's your sort of go-to person. Then we have what we call destination concierges, and each destination you go to, you are with an exclusive resorts dedicated person that will plan your trip. So about 6 weeks out from when you start your trip, this person will reach out to you. They will say, okay, Joe, you're coming in sort of 6 to 8 weeks time. Let's start sort of organizing your trip. Now I know I've read your profile in our CRM. I know what things you like to do. So here's my sort of proposal of the sort of things I would think that you might want to do. I've organized a sailing trip for you. I've organized a tour for you. I've organized an ATV trip for you. All of these things. And these are sort of the restaurants that I think you and your family would like. And so we put sort of a preliminary itinerary together for you. Or you can completely change that and do whatever you want for it. But the idea is to make this a very personalized trip for you. And again, if you want to just sit on the beach and relax, we'll make that happen. If you want to do more active trips, we'll make that happen. The other thing that we do is before you come to the location, we provision the home for you. So it's a bit like a yacht charter, in the sense that we call you and we will go to the stores and get all your
I thought that a few minutes ago as well. I thought this is, to a certain extent, like a customized yacht charter experience, really.
100%.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. I mean, it's exactly the same thing. And but I think because when you're in the home, and it's interesting because I was in Anguilla, and we have these amazing homes in Anguilla.
That is such a beautiful place. It's amazing.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
And so they're up on the bluff, and they have these amazing views over the water, and they've all got their own private pools and rooftop dining and jacuzzis and things. And it's interesting because some members come and they stay and they just want to go out and go to all the local restaurants, and they'll never cook anything or eat in the home at all. Mm-hmm. And then you have other members that come for a week and they cook every single night, and they're in the home and they bring friends and family. And so the point I was trying to make, and again, it's a super long answer to your question, but
your long answers are fantastic, James. So thank you.
We have these highly curated experiences that we'll go at your tempo, right? We'll figure out what it is you want, and we'll make it work. And that's why I think we have such such longevity with our members. It's why they travel with us so much, and they like being in the system. The other cool thing about that as well is that, what I think is kind of nice about this is members will try new experiences with us because they trust us to deliver an A+ experience. Right. So there are certain places where they might be like, I don't know whether I would really go there, but they go. And again, an anecdote personally. So I took a week's vacation in Anguilla, which was fabulous. And then I thought, well, I'm out there, I should go to some parts, and I should go to Nevis as well. Mm-hmm. And Nevis was not really on my list. It wasn't somewhere I thought, it's like, it's a different sort of an island, and the homes in Anguilla, we have these homes in the Four Seasons, and they're super opulent. And I went to Nevis, and I was just blown away by it. I mean, the team that we have on the ground there, the service, the product, the quality. The island has got this richness of history, and it was really cool. Unfortunately, I was only there for like 3 days, but I'm now I've got to go back. That was amazing. So anyway, I'm giving that.
No, and that's so great that you were able to experience it. And the magic of the Caribbean is, most people, in my opinion, don't really realize the Caribbean is somewhat lumped together. Any island is the same, and they're every single island, even if they're only an 8-minute ferry ride apart, they're all so very different with different. They're I mean, for the sake of conversation, they're really different countries. And you have Nevis and St. Kitts, which are right next to each other, but they're different. You have Anguilla, which is just a stone's throw from, say, the U.S. Virgin Islands and the BVI, and those are also drastically different. And the way you experience them can be, well, let me rephrase that. The experience in any of them can be exceptional if you have the opportunity to have your travel done perfectly. And for someone to do it on their own perfectly, if they don't know what they're doing, which can take many, many trips to try and perfect, yet when they have the opportunity to do, and just using the Caribbean as one example of all of the amazing places that Exclusive Resorts that currently operates, but using the Caribbean as a great example, is when you do have the opportunity to have Exclusive Resorts coordinate and also proactively engage you with whichever island it might be, or many of the islands in the Caribbean, and again, whichever ski resort. And then thinking of ski resorts, I mean, you have some people that they love Aspen, and then you have some people that love Vail, and they're two very different cultures. They're like two different Caribbean islands. And so when you're working with, say, Exclusive Resorts, who gets to know you, and thus obviously why you have members that have been with you for 17, 18 plus years, as you've mentioned, it changes everything. It changes everything, and it changes travel, and it changes the way that you go about traveling, and thus achieving, again, circling back to what we were discussing, what people are seeking right now, which is the experience, and the greatest experience you can get with any trip, quote unquote, that you take. And Exclusive Resorts is without a doubt, the best or is the optimal means through which to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that. I think that's right. I mean, which is sort of kind of interesting segue. One of our, I feel that we differentiate on a few different things. I think the relationships that we have with our members and the service we provide is exceptional. I think the other one, for me, that I like to talk about a lot is the sort of the quality, the consistency, and the reliability of what we do, and that's all about trust. And I think there's lots of different ways to travel right now, isn't there? I mean, you can go and stay in some fabulous resorts and things like that. Or you can go and do villa rentals, and there's tons of villa rental platforms out there. But I think, when you're traveling in villa rentals and you want larger homes, typically, one of the challenges with that is, and look, I mean, these villa rental platforms do an amazing job in terms of giving you lots of options, but they're an intermediary, and so you travel with them, and your contract is sort of through the platform. But when you get to that location, and everything looks fabulous online, but until you put the key in the door and you open the door and you kind of see what's on the other side, it can be an amazing experience, or it cannot be an amazing experience.
Right. It can be an absolutely horrific experience.
Yeah, it can be horrific, right? I mean, you could, and if you literally open the door and you've got 10 friends and family, or sort of 2 or 3 other couples traveling with you, or you've got kids and everything else, and you're the one that's made this booking. And if it is a suboptimal experience, then you're kind of stuck with it for a week, or you're like, okay, well, we're here for a week.
Right.
And the thing,
let the good times begin.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, with our business, it's one, there's a tremendous amount of trust in our members. We've been to every single location. We've vetted everything. So we do. Another good example of this is we do a seasonal villa program in Europe. And so this year we're in Sardinia, we're in Sicily, we're in Lisbon, we're in Dubrovnik.
Wow.
We're in a number of different locations where we have seasonal villas. We're also doing Chamonix and Megève as well with ski villas this year. And we have been and we've seen we have someone that goes and visits them, and we take, for every 15 villas we look at, we take one. So we've seen all these places, we've vetted them, and we know them. And if something ever goes wrong, we're going to fix it. And a good example of that was when the pandemic hit, and I think it's a little bit like 9/11, unfortunately, isn't it? I think everyone sort of knows where they were on 12th or 13th of March. 2020, we shut down.
That's a good way to put. No one's ever, of the hundreds of podcasts and conversations that podcast-wise that I've done, no one's ever phrased it that way. That's a great way to put it. Thank you for that. It is.
But it's like you think about it. I remember I flew back from New York on the night of the 12th of March. I was sitting home on the 13th of March when things started closing down. And we were doing one of our private jet trips. And I think we were about 15 days into a 3-week itinerary, I think. And of course, we've got, 80 people on this 757 in Tahiti or so. I don't know where they were. They were out in Asia somewhere. And they were having the time of their lives, right? And they're going to these and they're completely removed from all the communications going on.
Right.
And they were about to go into India. And I think before they went to India, I can't remember where our stop was, but we had to make a call, right, to say, look, we're gonna bring you back. And people were like, what do you mean you're gonna bring us back? We're having this amazing trip. And they had no idea what was happening back
right.
in the US at that time. And anyway, so there was a sort of people were like, well, no, we don't want to go back. But eventually, so we brought the group back and the jet back. And of course, when we got home, they were super relieved and appreciative that we did it. But then we also organised for these people to do another trip. And the point I'm making is that we've had a lot of situations where things happen when you're on vacation. Things happen that are out of your control. Things happen that you don't expect, and we've all seen it or had friends where they've had experiences. But the nice thing about traveling with someone like us is that you've got a broad network of within our system. We probably directly and indirectly employ 500 to 600 people, and you've got a network of people that are there to help you, that have destination expertise. We know people on the ground. We will fix it. We will make it work. We will bring you home. We will bring your family home. Or if you're having a suboptimal experience, we will make it. We will make it work. So I think that's the nice thing about traveling in a club like this. And I think that, to me, that trust, that quality, that consistency, that reliability is a huge element, one of the reasons why a lot of people like to travel with us.
Very well said, James. And I also loved a comment you made a bit back, but you used the term creating epic experiences. I love the word epic, and I think really at the end of the day, there is no better way to travel and further experience travel than via being an exclusive resort member. It's a fact. It's not my opinion. That's a fact. And so
Thank you.
well, thank you, and thank you for. I could speak to you all day. I know that would not be at the top of your list of things to do, and I know you're incredibly busy. So I will, and I've now had the grateful opportunity to have about 40 minutes of your time. So I'll let you get going. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or anything that we didn't discuss during this beautiful conversation that you would like to?
Yeah, two things I would love to touch on, if I can.
Of course.
If you indulge me for maybe another couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
One is, I think, the other thing that is something that's exceptional about exclusive resorts is we are a community of incredible people. One of the things that our members really love is meeting other members, and that's the thing I enjoy so much about it. It's like being like a virtual country club, if you like. And we do all these amazing events where members get to meet each other, which I think is part of the richness of what we do. I think I have the best job in the world with some of the people that I have the fortune.
What a great thing to say.
And then I think the other thing that's a big differentiator for us, which we don't really talk about a lot very explicitly, but I think is really important as a thing for people to be aware of. There is a huge value component to what we do. I mean, at the end of the day, exclusive resorts we are a shared usage model. So, we have a model where we have a group of members and they have access to homes and they share those homes. But there's an awful lot of value to that too. So, we work a little bit like a country club. Members pay a one-time initiation fee, and that fee ranges anywhere from sort of 150,000 or 170,000 is now to, sort of 550,000. But at the lower point, you choose 10, 15, 20 days with us, and you choose how many nights a year you want to travel with us, and we have a fixed annual dues amount per year. And the reason why that's important is that annual dues amount, when we break it down, it works out to approximately $1,500 per night. And when you compare that you're staying in these fabulous homes, you compared to what you would pay today in something like a Four Seasons or something like that, there's an incredible amount of value to what we do. And I think this is something that is a huge differentiator for members, for families that are traveling. If you work in our system, in our network, you get access to this incredible portfolio of homes, and you really get a significantly better price than you would get if you were going out and booking 4 or 5 homes at somewhere like a 5-star hotel like a Four Seasons or a Rosewood or something like that.
Right.
But they're the two areas I think are unique. So, as I said, obviously we've got the homes experiences. We differentiate on the relationships. We differentiate, I think, on the quality and the trusted service we provide. The community, I think, is extraordinary. And then finally, I think there's a strong value play as well that we don't really talk about that much, but I think it's something that's important for people to dig into.
Absolutely.
Traveling, something like that. So look, I really appreciate your time. It's been super fun. I'd love to talk more. I can talk about this stuff all day. I'm super passionate about it. So
I can tell. And again, it's such a pleasure to speak with you, James. I really appreciate you taking time. Thank you so much. James Henderson, CEO of Exclusive Resorts, exclusiveresorts.com. I can't wait, or I hope that we get to have the opportunity to speak again, James, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend celebrating the 4th of July.
Thanks, Chad. Really appreciate it. Great talking to you.
Thank you very much, my friend. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.